Okay, today I have an exciting video for me, at least, because I have here the new Aqara U500 rim lock. And the reason it's extra exciting is because this is my first product for review from Aqara. So they have sent this to me for free for review, but these words and thoughts are my own. Now, unlike most smart locks, this isn't necessarily designed for your typical front door, though it is IP rated if you want to. This new range of locks are specifically targeting edge case installs. Things like gates, glass doors, and doors that don't already have traditional lock hardware installed. And this particular model, the rim lock, can be fitted onto just those doors, which makes it great for internal doors, offices like this one, utility rooms, and weird retrofit situations like mine, which you'll see in a moment. Hi, I'm James, and I've been building out my smart home for years, with products from just about every manufacturer out there, figuring out what works and what doesn't. Now, as usual from Aqara, the feature set is second to none. It supports Matter over Thread, which means you're not locked into any one ecosystem. It supports Apple HomeKey. It has a keypad for passcodes, a fingerprint reader, and even physical backup keys. And there's also a USB-C port on the bottom, which gives you a way to power it up from a power bank if those 4 AA batteries it runs from were to die. Now, before I even started fitting this, I already knew my door setup was going to be awkward. This style of lock expects the door and the frame to sit fairly flush with one another, and mine absolutely don't. So I designed and 3D printed a 15mm spacer to move the lock further away from the door so that everything would line up properly. And shockingly, that worked perfectly first time. Now, once that was sorted, the actual install process was surprisingly straightforward, apart from one very stupid mistake on my part. I forgot to install the locking pin during assembly, which meant the lock wouldn't have actually worked. So I had to take the entire thing back apart again just to slide that pin in. But that pin itself is actually quite clever because it works with quite a wide variety of door widths by having snap-offs to make it the right length. Unfortunately, with my printed spacer, it was already the perfect length. Now, after the installation was finally done correctly, setup was mostly straightforward too. Although I did have one little hiccup. When setting it up, the lock tells you to press the set button inside the battery compartment and then scan the Matter QR code. I did try this a few times and nothing really seemed to happen, the setup kept timing out. Eventually I held the reset button for around 15 seconds, tried the process again, and it paired just fine. There's also a calibration process during setup, which I didn't film because I wasn't expecting it to happen straight away, but it is very simple. You simply stand outside the door with the backup key, close the door, confirm with the lock button, and it calibrates itself by locking and unlocking automatically. After having used it day to day for a while now, the fingerprint reader is definitely up there with the best I've used. It's extremely fast and very reliable, except when you have wet fingers, which seems to trip up all readers to this day, if it weren't for Apple HomeKey, which works exactly as I'd hoped. You can just tap your iPhone or your Apple Watch against the lock's keypad and it unlocks instantly. I also enabled tap to unlock as well so that it unlocks without needing Face ID on my phone first, as this is only an internal door, so maximum security isn't my priority here. You can also unlock it using passcodes on the touch keypad or with the physical backup keys in the hole hidden behind the sliding cover at the bottom. One thing I do really like is that a lot of the configuration can actually be done directly on the lock itself. You simply press that set button inside the battery compartment and then follow the voice prompts using the keypad. A bit like following company answering machines, only without the terrible hold music. You can add passcodes, fingerprints, and change various settings, all without needing the Aqara app at all. Though speaking of the Aqara app, I did eventually get it set up in there as well. Initially, the app didn't properly recognize the device when I was trying to add it unless you manually typed in the code. But Aqara have told me that this is already fixed with an app update. Inside the Aqara app, you get access to a lot more settings and controls. You can create named users, manage fingerprints and passcodes, run calibrations, adjust the voice and other prompt volumes, enable night latch mode, away mode, do not disturb, and various other lock preferences. Most importantly for me though, I could finally disable auto lock when the door closes, because this is where my only real criticism of the lock comes in. Instead of using a magnetic sensor to detect whether the door is open or closed, Aqara uses accelerometers in the lock itself. Now, for other locks that they've made in the past, I think that this has made some sense. But for this model, it feels a bit strange because you already have to install this fairly chunky piece onto the door frame anyway. At that point, it feels like they could have just included a magnetic contact sensor and had a much more reliable door state detection. In real world use, that choice became especially noticeable when combined with that default auto lock on close behaviour, because sometimes you'd pull the door closed slightly and it would think it was fully closed when it hadn't. So it would then lock while the door was actually still slightly open, creating a bit of an awkward situation where you then had to unlock the door in order to close it. So that combination of choices and defaults honestly became the most annoying part of the entire experience, at least until I managed to get the settings configured in just the way I wanted. And what's equally annoying is I couldn't find a way to disable that auto lock on door close directly on the lock itself without using the Aqara app. This is something that I have already fed back to Aqara, because if a device supports Matter, I think users should be able to access as much of the functionality as possible without being forced into the manufacturer's ecosystem. Now, onto the reason I decided to install this on our master bedroom door, as this once again comes back to the recent ensuite build we did in there. Having this new bathroom created a slightly awkward problem. Anyone using the new bathroom now needs to be able to lock the bedroom door behind them for some privacy, because the door they installed on the actual bathroom is pretty much pointless. So naturally, this new smart lock came to the rescue. By fitting this lock, someone using the bathroom can simply turn the thumb turn to get some privacy. But of course, I took it a step further and set up a digital occupied indicator system. So now, whenever motion is detected on the landing, the normal LED strip turns on. But if this door is locked, the section above our bedroom flashes red to let people know the bathroom is occupied. And having this lock here also means we can stop the kids wandering in to use the bathroom during specific situations. Overall though, I think that the Aqara U500 rim lock is genuinely interesting because it solves problems that most smart locks completely ignore. The fingerprint reader is excellent, Apple Home Key works brilliantly, and Matter over Thread support is excellent, and once properly configured, it's been really reliable in day-to-day use. It definitely won't be the right lock for every situation, but if you've got an unusual door setup, an internal room that you want to secure, or one of those awkward installs that traditional smart locks don't really support, then this thing fills a pretty unique gap in the market. I would also like to mention at this point that Aqara are launching an Irish Amazon store alongside this product launch, and from May 26th to 28th, there'll be 10% off of most Aqara products there as well. As always, the links will be down below if you want to check it out, and on my website, homeiswherethesmart.is. And all that's left to say is a big thank you for watching, and as always remember, home is where the smart is.